Easter! It's Easter again. Happens every year. It's weird, right? I don't know about you, but I never know when Easter is. I always have to look it up. Put something in my favorite search engine. It's turns out it's all about the moon. Lunar cycles. And I tell you, the only way I remember that it's Easter is, one, there's Easter stuff in the store. And two, something comes up online about Mardi Gras. So there's Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, and then you have Lent. But then still, it's 40 days away. I always like to ask the old guy what he's going to give up for Lent. The real answer is nothing. But I like to bug him, right? And when I do that, he usually gives me the look. You know the look. It's the one I generally give him. Anyway, then I will discontinue the conversation because I'm afraid that he's going to say the thing that he wants to give up is me. Being the nerdy old gal that I am, I like trivia. So I need my glasses to read this, so I looked this up. So the technical answer to when is Easter is it's the first ecclesiastical paschal moon, full moon, that occurs after the vernal equinox. Unless that's a Sunday, then it's the week after. So apparently it's any time between March 22 and April 25th. Well, that really clears it up. Now, don't forget to stick around for the end and the wonderful riddle that I have for you. It's a really good one. Anyway, Easter celebrations have been around since 2nd century, and they're tied to the Jewish Passover. Now, the word Easter is thought to have come from the word Istra or Ustra, which is was a Germanic goddess of dawn, fertility, and something else. Spring. Can't forget spring, except it's snowing out right now. Anyway, new life. Now, I also have, while I'm thinking of it, a PSA. That's a public service announcement for you. So if your plan A fails, just remember there's 25 more letters in the alphabet. So you're thinking, blah, blah, blah. I know Easter's an old celebration, but what the heck have eggs got to do with it? Well, I'll tell you. Oh, goodness, there's people up in the kitchen. And by people, I mean the old guy and the dogs. They're making noise. Anyway, I'll lose track when he does that. Okay, lots of things to do with eggs. I'm not going into all that detail. If you want to look it up, please do. But what struck me was Christians were prevented from eating eggs, or prohibited, I guess is a better word, during Lent. So they would keep the eggs because the chickens are still producing the darn things, and then they would boil them and eat them on Easter Sunday. And there's something that comes after that. Oh, yeah, why can't they eat eggs? Well, you know what? There's a whole big description of that online. I'm not going to go through with that right now. Look it up if you want. Okay, I got a great joke. No, yeah, it's a joke. You ready? The rabbit looks around and says, "Gee, I think I must be a typo." Moving along, let's talk about the Easter Bunny. The Easter Bunny, originally a hare, has been around since 1500s. Germanic folklore belief has it that the Easter hare, or the Osterhase, would leave eggs hidden in gardens for good children to find. Now, that belief didn't spread across Germany for several years, and then in the 1700s, it made its way into Pennsylvania in the States through German immigrants. Okay, there's something else on here I want to say. Oh, yeah, 1800s. What happened in the 1800s? Oh, right. Easter-themed cards, toys, and books popularized the Easter hare or the Easter rabbit or the bunny across Europe, and then made its way to the U.S., North America, sort of thing. Speaking of rabbits, did you hear the one about the rabbit that worked at the brewery? Yeah, he was in charge of hops. Okay, need glasses? Got some of my trivia numbers. And if you'd watched any of my other videos, which really not very many people have, but you could do that. Why not? Have a laugh. I'm a bit of a trivia nerd, and I like the numbers. Not that I can remember them, because obviously I have to read them. Okay, so in 2025 in the United States, $23.6 billion was spent on Easter. 3.3 billion of that is spent on candy. Now, I can't find a number for worldwide spending. I get conflicting numbers online for some of this information coming up. But from what I can tell, there are approximately 240 million chocolate Easter bunnies made in the world, and 90 million of those babies are sold in the US. Alrighty, now you're asking, what about chocolate eggs? Well, they became popular in the 1800s. Fry's of Bristol in the UK produced the first hollow chocolate egg in 1873. Now that's a year that should be celebrated. President Rutherford B. Hayes had the first Easter egg roll at the White House in 1878. I have another PSA for you, and it's an Easter one. Make sure that your little chocolate eggs are, in fact, edible. Don't just go picking up little brown round things off the ground. You do know what bunny turds, rabbit turds look like, right? Apparently, 16 billion jelly beans are made for Easter. Jelly beans? Jelly beans! You forgot all about jelly beans, what with your Easter eggs and everything, didn't you? Anyway, so people would give up their sweets for Lent, and then on Easter Sunday, they would start eating them again. And it turns out that jelly beans are far better for an Easter egg hunt than chocolate eggs, because chocolate melts when it's warm. Now, personally, I've never lived anywhere where it was warm enough at Easter to have an Easter egg hunt outside. So Fluff and Pops would always just hide the eggs in the house for everybody. Did you hear about the bunny rabbit that sat on a bumblebee? It was a tender tale. Okay, we got more jelly bean information here. Jelly beans, they became popular in the 1930s, but it wasn't until the 60s that companies began injecting flavoring into the center of the jelly bean instead of just in the shell, just having the shell have flavoring. Okay, and there's more. Can you name a famous jelly bean eater? Oh, pick me, I know. It was Ronald Reagan, President Ronald Reagan. He started eating jelly beans when he was quitting smoking. And then it kind of became a thing around the White House, and they would have jars of jelly beans on the table at meetings and in his office, and yeah, it was kind of fun. His favorite flavor apparently was licorice. Yuck. I don't like black licorice. In fact, I would call black licorice my mortal enemy. Yeah, really don't like it. But you know who likes it? The old guy. So, I got to tell you, if he's been eating black licorice and he's coming in for a kiss, it's like, ooh, back off, man. Ugh, yuck. Ew. Okay, so don't go overboard on the candy today. And if you have any Easter traditions or foods or candies that you can't do without, pop it into the comments. Be interesting to see what people like. Okay, so in the meantime, I got places to go, people to see. I got chocolate bunny ears to eat, but wait for the riddle. What do you get when you cross? What do you cross? Oh yeah, it's Easter. I should know this. What do you get when you cross a rabbit with shellfish? You get the oyster bunny. See you next time.